They say kindness costs nothing, but for Mariana Diaz it cost her everything. Or so she thought. On a quiet evening in Phoenix, Arizona, a single mother broke the rules to serve a late customer wearing a baseball cap. She didn't know it was Barack Obama. She didn't know she was being watched. She didn't know that getting fired the next morning would be the best thing that ever happened to her. Sometimes the biggest dreams come true when you're not looking for them. Sometimes getting fired isn't the end of your story, it's just the beginning. This is what happened when one library aide chose kindness over rules, and how that choice changed not just her life, but an entire community. Mariana Diaz's feet ached as she reshelved the last stack of books at Phoenix Community Library. The clock on the wall read 6:45 p.m. Just 15 minutes until closing time. Her muscles begged for rest after 10 hours of standing, but she couldn't slow down yet. Not when Miguel was counting on her. "Mama, can I please go to science camp this summer?" Miguel had asked that morning, his big brown eyes shining with hope. "Professor Martinez says I'm getting really good at robotics." The memory of her 10-year-old son's hopeful face gave Mariana the energy to keep moving. Science camp cost $500, which meant 2 more weeks of double shifts. But seeing Miguel light up whenever he talked about science made it all worth it. The door chimed, pulling Mariana from her thoughts. She turned to tell the visitor they were closing soon, but the words caught in her throat. A tall man in a baseball cap and dark jacket stood in the doorway, ducking his head slightly to enter. Even hunched over, he had a dignified presence. Ms. Garcia, her supervisor, had strict rules about serving visitors after 6:30 p.m. Library services end early. She always said, no exceptions, but something about the man's tired eyes made Mariana hesitate. He looked like he'd had a long day too. "Come on in," she called out, grabbing a visitor form from behind the counter. "Just try to be quick if you can. We're about to close." The man smiled, and warmth filled his eyes. "Thank you," he said in a deep, gentle voice. "I appreciate it. Just need a quiet place to read and think." Mariana led him to a desk in the corner, far from the windows. She noticed how he kept his head down, like he was trying not to be noticed. Probably some professor from the university. She thought Phoenix had plenty of academics passing through, especially during conference season. "What can I help you find?" she asked, pulling out her notepad. "Books on American history," he said, "and whatever you recommend for someone interested in community organizing. Our civic engagement section is pretty comprehensive." Mariana said, "My son says it's the best in Phoenix, though he might be a little biased since his mama curates it." The man chuckled, a warm, familiar sound that Mariana couldn't quite place. "Sounds perfect. You have kids?" "Just one, Miguel. He's 10 and already smarter than half his class." Mariana smiled proudly. "He's science crazy, wants to be an engineer someday. Good dreams to have." The man said. His cap shifted slightly as he nodded, and Mariana caught a glimpse of his face in the fluorescent light. Her heart skipped a beat as recognition hit her, but she kept her expression neutral, pretending not to notice. "I'll show you to that section," she said smoothly, turning toward the civic engagement shelves. Through the office window, she could see Ms. Garcia getting ready to shut down the computers. Last visitor of the day. Ms. Garcia grumbled, but continued with her closing routine. In all her years working at the library, she'd never turned away a visitor Mariana vouched for. While the man browsed, Mariana tidied up the nearby shelves and counted her tip jar. She'd made $23 today from the donation box she'd set up for personalized reading recommendations. That would go straight into the science camp fund, along with the extra pay from her morning shift at the coffee shop across town. The man sat quietly reading a book on grassroots organizing while making notes in a small notebook. Despite his height, he had a gentle presence that put Mariana at ease. She'd helped plenty of notable people over the years, and some had been real jerks, but this one seemed different. When he finally selected several books, she carried them to the checkout desk. "Here you go. Your library card?" she asked. He produced a visitor pass from his wallet. "I'm just in town for a conference," he explained. "Thank you." He paused, reading her name tag. "Mariana, you didn't have to serve me so late. I know it's past closing." She shrugged. Everyone deserves access to knowledge and a moment of peace, no matter what time it is. My abuela taught me that. He nodded thoughtfully. Your abuela taught you well, and your son's lucky to have you. I'm the lucky one, Mariana said, meaning it. Miguel keeps me going on nights like this. Speaking of which, I better finish closing up. As she worked, she couldn't help glancing at the security camera in the corner. Ms. Garcia reviewed the tapes every morning, but maybe she wouldn't notice the timestamp, and even if she did, Mariana couldn't bring herself to regret helping someone in need. The man read quietly, occasionally, making notes that made Mariana smile. When he finished, he waved her over. Your civic engagement section is impressive, he said. Best curated collection I've seen in a community library. He pulled out his wallet and Mariana started to tell him borrowing was free with a visitor pass. But he was already placing several bills in the donation box. For your educational programs, he said, standing up. And thank you for the kindness, it means more than you know. Mariana waited until he left before checking the donation box. Her eyes widened at the stack of $100 bills, 5 of them. That was more than enough for Miguel's science camp. As she locked up the library at 7:15 p.m., Mariana felt lighter despite her exhaustion. Sometimes breaking the rules was worth it, especially when your heart told you it was right. What she didn't know was that her act of kindness hadn't gone unnoticed, and tomorrow that simple decision would change her life forever. Outside, a black SUV pulled away from the curb, its tail lights disappearing into the night. Inside, Barack Obama smiled, already planning his next move. The next morning came too quickly. Mariana's alarm buzzed at 6 a.m., and she groaned, her feet still sore from yesterday's shift. But the memory of the $500 donation brought a smile to her face as she got ready for work. Miguel, breakfast time, Mijo, she called, down the hall of their small apartment. Her son appeared, already dressed in his school science club t-shirt, assembling a small motor. Mama, guess what? Professor Martinez says I might get to present my project at the state fair. Mariana pulled her son into a tight hug. That's amazing. And guess what else? I think science camp this summer is going to happen after all. Miguel's eyes lit up. For real? But yesterday you said, we might not have enough. Let's just say a kind visitor left a very generous donation last night. Mariana started making breakfast, adding banana slices in the shape of a robot. Sometimes good things happen when you least expect them. The morning routine flew by, and soon Mariana was dropping Miguel at school before heading to the library for her day shift. She hadn't even made it through the door when Ms. Garcia's voice stopped her cold. My office, now. Her supervisor stood by her desk, arms crossed, the security footage from last night playing on her computer screen. The timestamp clearly showed 6:47 p.m. Want to explain this? Ms. Garcia pointed to the screen where Mariana was helping the late visitor. You know the rules. No visitors after 6:30, he just needed a few books. It wasn't causing any rules. Mariana, Ms. Garcia's face hardened. I've warned you about this before. Making exceptions, staying late, giving extra reading recommendations to people who can't afford the suggested donation. Mariana felt her face grow hot. Those people needed help, and last night's visitor was Barack Obama. The words burst out before she could stop them. Ms. Garcia laughed harshly. Right, and I'm Michelle Obama, she shook her head. This is the last straw, Mariana. I'm going to need your badge and key card. You're fired. You're firing me over helping someone? Her voice cracked. I have a son to support. Should have thought about that before breaking the rules again. Ms. Garcia held out her hand for her badge. You'll get your final check in 2 weeks. Mariana's hands shook as she unpinned her badge. 5 years of service ended just like that. She thought about the science camp money now needed for rent and groceries instead. As she walked to her car, her phone buzzed. Unknown number. Hello, she answered, trying to keep her voice steady. Is this Mariana Diaz? A professional sounding woman asked. Yes, who's this? I'm calling on behalf of Mr. Barack Obama. He'd like to meet with you this morning at the Phoenix Convention Center office. Are you available? Mariana nearly dropped her phone. She looked back at the library where Ms. Garcia watched suspiciously through the window. I guess I am now, she said, her heart pounding. May I ask what this is about? Mr. Obama will explain everything in person. Can you be here in 30 minutes? Mariana thought about Miguel's dream of science camp, about the kindness in the tall visitor's eyes last night, about Ms. Garcia's sneering disbelief. Yes, she said firmly. I'll be there. As she drove toward downtown Phoenix, Mariana couldn't help wondering if she was making another mistake. But somehow, deep in her heart, she knew this was different. Last night's visitor hadn't just been a hungry mind. He'd been watching her, testing her. The question was, why? In the convention center office, Barack Obama reviewed Mariana's background check results with satisfaction. 5 years at the same library, a second job to support her son, volunteer work at the local community center tutoring immigrant families. Perfect. Send her up as soon as she arrives, he told his assistant. And call the foundation board. Tell them I think we've found our person. Mariana sat in her old Toyota Corolla, staring up at the gleaming Phoenix Convention Center. Her hands gripped the steering wheel so tight her knuckles turned white. The events of the morning felt like a bad dream, getting fired, the mysterious phone call, and now this. Her phone buzzed with a text from Elena, her co-worker at the library. Girl, we all tried to talk to Ms. Garcia. She won't listen. We're going to miss you so much. Tears welled up in her eyes. 5 years of friendships, regular visitors who felt like family, all gone, because she'd helped someone in need. She thought about Mrs. Patel, the elderly woman who came in every Wednesday for computer help, and little Sophia from the shelter down the street, who she'd been tutoring and reading for months. Get it together, she whispered to herself, wiping her eyes. Miguel needs you to be strong, Miguel. She still had to figure out how to tell her son that science camp wasn't happening anymore. Now that the $500 would have to go toward next month's rent. Taking a deep breath, Mariana checked her reflection in the rear-view mirror. Her library aide uniform was still on, she hadn't had time to change after being fired. At least it was clean and pressed. Her mother had always said, present yourself with dignity, no matter what life throws at you. The lobby of the convention center was all marble and glass, making Mariana feel even more out of place in her blue and white uniform. A security guard looked up as she approached the desk. I'm Mariana Diaz. I got a call about meeting with. She paused, still hardly believing it, Mr. Obama. The guard's expression changed from bored to interested. He made a quick phone call, then handed her a visitor's badge. 15th floor. Jennifer will meet you at the elevator. The elevator ride felt like it took forever. Mariana's mind raced with questions. Why would Barack Obama want to meet with her? Was this about last night? Maybe he was upset about her pretending not to recognize him? Jennifer turned out to be a sharp-dressed woman in her 50s with kind eyes. Right this way. Ms. Diaz, can I get you anything? Water? Coffee? Water would be nice. Mariana replied automatically, then remembered she'd missed her morning coffee in all the chaos. Actually, coffee would be wonderful. Jennifer led her to a comfortable waiting area with huge windows overlooking the city. From up here, Mariana could just barely make out the community library, looking tiny and insignificant from this height, just like she felt right now. Mr. Obama will be with you shortly, Jennifer said, returning with a glass of water and a steaming cup of coffee. Make yourself comfortable. Comfortable? Mariana almost laughed. How could she be comfortable when her whole life had just fallen apart? When she had no idea how she'd pay next month's bills? When her son's dreams might have to be put on hold again? Her phone buzzed again. A text from Miguel. Had the best science class ever. Professor Martinez loved my circuit design. Love you, Mama. Fresh tears threatened to fall. Mariana took a long drink of water, trying to steady herself. That's when she heard the door open behind her. Ms. Diaz, that familiar deep voice said. Thank you for coming on such short notice. Mariana stood and turned to face Barack Obama himself. No baseball cap this time. He was even taller in the daylight, his presence filling the room, but his eyes were the same, kind and watchful, like they could see right through you. I hope you don't mind that I didn't let on that I recognized you last night, Mariana said, finding her voice. You seemed like you wanted privacy. Obama smiled. That's exactly what I wanted, and that's exactly what you gave me, just another visitor needing knowledge and a moment of peace. He gestured for her to sit back down. But that's not why I asked you here today. It's not? No. He sat across from her, leaning forward slightly. I've been visiting that library for the past month, watching you specifically. Mariana's confusion must have shown on her face, because he continued. I've been looking for someone special to run a new education program at my foundation, someone with real compassion. Someone who does the right thing even when it costs them something. He paused. Someone like you. Me? Mariana's voice came out as a whisper. But I just lost my job. I broke the rules. You showed kindness to a stranger even though it might get you in trouble. That wasn't the first time, was it? Mariana thought about all the late evening visitors she'd helped, all the extra reading recommendations she'd given to struggling students, all the times she'd stayed late to help elderly patrons finish their research in peace. No, she said softly, it wasn't. That's why I'm offering you a job, Obama said. But first I need to know why. Why did you help me last night? The truth. Mariana met his gaze steadily. Because you looked tired and curious, and everyone deserves access to knowledge, especially when they're searching for something. It didn't matter to me who you were under that cap. Obama's smile widened. That's exactly what I was hoping you'd say. Mariana's hands trembled as she held the business card Obama had given her. Director of Educational Outreach. It read in elegant gold letters, followed by a phone number and the logo of the Obama Foundation. I don't understand, she said, looking up from the card. I don't have a college degree. I've never run a foundation. I'm just a library aide. You're not just anything, Obama replied, his voice firm. You're exactly what this foundation needs, someone who sees people, not positions, someone who understands what it means to struggle and still choose kindness. He stood and walked to the window, gesturing at the city below. I've got plenty of people with fancy degrees. What I need is someone with heart, someone who knows our community because they live it every day. A knock at the door interrupted them. Jennifer entered with a thick folder. The employment package you requested, Mr. President. Thank you, Jennifer. Obama took the folder and handed it to Mariana. Inside you'll find all the details about the position, salary, benefits, responsibilities. Take it home, read it over, talk to your son. Mariana opened the folder and her eyes widened at the salary figure. It was more than triple what she made at both her jobs combined. This can't be right, she whispered. It is. Obama's eyes crinkled with amusement, and it includes full health insurance, a retirement plan, and, he paused meaningfully, a full scholarship to our STEM youth programs for Miguel. Miguel's face flashed through Mariana's mind, not just science camp, but year-round training, real mentoring, real opportunities. Why me? She asked again, still struggling to believe this was real, because last night wasn't a coincidence. I've been visiting different community spaces around Phoenix, watching how people treat others when they think no one important is looking. You were the only one who didn't change your behavior based on who you thought I was. He sat back down across from her. The foundation board wanted me to hire someone with a master's in education and 10 years of nonprofit experience. But I told them I wanted someone real, someone who lives our mission every day, without even thinking about it. Mariana thought about all the time she'd bent rules to help people at the library, how it had cost her her job, and now somehow it had led to this moment. I don't know what to say, she admitted. Say you'll think about it. Obama stood, signaling the end of the meeting. Take the weekend. Review the package. The position starts Monday if you want it. As Jennifer led her back to the elevator, Mariana felt like she was floating. The folder in her hands seemed to weigh 100 pounds, heavy with possibility. The reality of the morning hit her again as she reached her car. She still had to pick up Miguel from school, Still had to figure out how to tell him about losing the library job. But now maybe. She also had something wonderful to share. She was about to start the car when her phone rang. The screen showed Ms. Garcia's number from the library. Hello? She answered cautiously. Mariana. Ms. Garcia's voice sounded strange. You need to come back to the library right now. I don't work there anymore. Remember? You fired me this morning. Yeah, well, she cleared her throat. Things have changed. Some people in suits just showed up. Say they're from the Obama Foundation. They're talking about funding a complete renovation of our library, but they want to talk to you first. Mariana looked up at the convention center, where she could have sworn she saw a figure watching from the top floor. I'm kind of busy right now, she said, surprising herself with how steady her voice was. Maybe tomorrow. Tomorrow? Mariana, these people are serious. They're talking millions of dollars, but they keep asking about you. What did you do? She thought about the folder on her passenger seat, about Miguel's dreams, about all the other kids out there with dreams of their own. I just helped someone who was curious, she said. That's all. Look, I'm sorry about this morning. I was harsh. Your job is still here if you want it. We can forget the whole thing happened. Mariana watched a group of kids carrying science projects into a nearby building, their excited chatter carrying through her car window, reminding her of Miguel's joy when he built something new. Thank you, Ms. Garcia, but I don't think I'll be coming back. Her voice grew stronger with each word. I think God has something else in mind for me. She ended the call and picked up the folder again, starting to read through it carefully. The position wasn't just about running programs, it was about creating opportunities for kids who needed them. Kids like Miguel. Kids who just needed someone to believe in them. Her phone buzzed with another text from her son. Can't wait to show you my new robot design. You're picking me up, right? Mariana smiled, typing back, you bet, me Joe. And wait till you hear what happened today. She started the car, her mind already racing with ideas for the foundation. Maybe she could start a program specifically for immigrant families and their kids. Maybe she could create scholarships for books and technology. Maybe. The possibilities seemed endless. All because she'd chosen kindness over rules. All because she'd seen a curious mind instead of just another late visitor. As she drove toward Miguel's school, she finally let herself believe that maybe, just maybe, dreams really do come true, not just for her son, but for her too. The afternoon sun painted Phoenix's streets golden as Mariana pulled up to Miguel's school. Kids streamed out of the building, many carrying science projects in backpacks. She spotted her son immediately, his face animated as he showed something on his tablet to his friends. Mama, Miguel called out, running to the car. He stopped short when he saw Mariana's library uniform. Why aren't you at work? Mariana took a deep breath. Me Joe, we need to talk. But first I want to hear all about your day. As they drove, Miguel chatted excitedly about his new robot design and how Professor Martinez said he had natural talent. Mariana listened, her mind spinning with the possibilities the new job could bring: free access to STEM programs, real mentoring, real opportunities. They stopped at their favorite park, the one with the science museum where Miguel had first discovered his love for engineering. Mariana led them to their usual bench under the big mesquite tree. Something happened today, Mariana began, pulling the folder from her bag. Actually, it started last night at the library. She told Miguel everything about serving Barack Obama, getting fired, and the surprising job offer. Her son's eyes grew wider with each word. You mean the Barack Obama? The president? Miguel bounced in his seat. The one we read about in my history book? And he wants you to work for him? That's right, me Joe, but it's a big change. I'd be running programs to help kids learn and like science camp? Miguel interrupted, his eyes shining. Even better than science camp. Mariana opened the folder, showing Miguel some of the program materials. These are STEM programs, coding classes, and special workshops that run all year round. And if I take this job, you could be part of them. Miguel grabbed the papers, his fingers tracing over the colorful photos of kids building robots. This is like a dream. Mama, I know. Me Joe, but there's something else you need to know. Mariana touched her son's hand. I lost my job at the library this morning. That's why I wasn't at work. Miguel's face fell. Because you helped Mr. Obama? Because I broke the rules to help someone who needed it, even though it turned out to be Mr. Obama. I didn't know that at the time, and I would have done the same thing for anyone, like when you stay late to help Mrs. Patel with her emails? Mariana blinked in surprise. You knew about that? Miguel nodded. I see you do nice things for people all the time. Mama, that's why Mr. Obama picked you, isn't it? Maybe. Mariana pulled her son close. But this job, it's bigger than anything I've ever done. I'd be responsible for helping lots of kids, not just recommending books. What if I'm not good enough? Remember what you always tell me? Miguel sat up straight, putting on his best mom voice. You'll never know what you can do until you try. Mariana laughed, wiping away tears she hadn't realized were falling. When did you get so wise? I learned from the best. Miguel hugged her tightly. You're going to be amazing, Mama, just like you are at everything else. They sat together watching the sunset paint the sky pink and orange. At the museum entrance, a group of students were entering for a science fair, their excited voices floating over on the evening breeze. Those could be your programs, Miguel said softly. You could help kids who can't afford science camp, like Sophia's brother. He's really good at math, but his mom says they can't pay for special classes. Mariana looked at her son with pride. Even at 10, Miguel understood what this opportunity really meant, not just for them, but for others too. Her phone buzzed with a text from Jennifer. Mr. Obama would like to know if you've made a decision. The board is meeting tomorrow morning. Looking at Miguel's hopeful face, at the kids entering the science museum, at the community she'd served for so long, Mariana suddenly knew exactly what she wanted to say. Want to help me write something, Nijo? She asked, pulling out her phone. Together, they composed a response. I would be honored to accept the position. Thank you for seeing something in me that I didn't even see in myself. The reply came almost instantly. Welcome to the team. Be here at 9 a.m. tomorrow and bring your son. There's someone I want him to meet. Who do you think it is? Miguel asked, practically bouncing with excitement. I don't know, Nijo. Mariana smiled, remembering Obama's words about the foundation board. But I have a feeling this is just the beginning of something big. As they walked back to the car, a cool evening breeze rustled the trees, the same breeze that had blown through the community library last night when a tall stranger in a baseball cap had changed their lives forever. Mama, Miguel said as they pulled away from the park. I'm proud of you. Mariana gripped the steering wheel tighter, her heart so full it felt like it might burst. I'm proud of us, Nijo. We're in this together. What neither of them knew was that back in his office, Barack Obama was still working. On his desk lay a stack of files, information about other immigrant families in Phoenix, other kids who needed opportunities, other lives waiting to be changed. At the top of that stack was a photo of Mariana volunteering at the Literacy Center last Thanksgiving, smiling despite her obvious exhaustion. Next to it was a letter from Sophia's mother describing how Mariana had helped her family navigate the education system. Obama smiled, adding one final note to Mariana's file. Sometimes the biggest dreams come true when you're busy helping others achieve theirs.